What's going on?
And Masai, when you made those trades in February, you said part of it was to give this group a chance to be as good as it could be.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen since that point, and do you think it is?
You know, with Kyle out for a while, you wish you had it you had him longer, but unfortunately, I think with his injury, he was out for a while, and now he's come back and gained some rhythm. But the team started playing well, and without Kyle and with Kyle now, I think we finished the season strong. So I think a lot of players emerged during that period, and you hope it all on paper it looks good when you make trades or you bring in players, but you hope they all gel together, and I think it's working out fine. It worked out fine, I think, for the season, and now the second season starts, and this is the big test for us. But I will say everybody feels good about going into the season, and I think in our last 15, I think we were 12-3. So you like that momentum, continuity. Kyle is back, getting back into rhythm, trying to feel the other guys, and so hopefully, I think, with those guys coming in, you hope that they brought us some toughness and some defense.
So I think we're seeing what PJ brings or what Serge brings on the floor, defense or stretch the floor, whatever it might be. What have you seen from the inside since you added them that makes you think they've been good additions?
Well, yesterday I was standing by my office, and PJ and Serge were arguing with Rex about, and Coach Casey comes up and he's like, "Those guys are talking about defense, and that tells you kind of what they are about, there's a level of intensity I think they've brought, and Kyle is our force, and then DeMar is our style and force in some kind of way, and we get toughness from Jonas and Damari and our guys generally. But these guys, it's what we brought. And they bring intensity and they bring toughness. They're about winning, and that helps our ball club. And I think as teammates, they've proven they've been good teammates where they are, and we've seen that in the short time we've had them. We've seen it here.
How would you describe the identity of your defense now with the additions of PJ and Serge?
Well, we want to be tough. We want to be intense, and that's what they bring. I think Damari was that kind of a player, and I think injury slowed him down, and he's gained back to being that kind of a pesky player too. He knows how to play. He's all over the place. Kyle, all these guys, I think. We want to be intense, and we're going into tomorrow, and the game slows down a little bit. Everybody starts to think a little bit too much. That's just the nature of the playoffs, and looking at one thing. So I'm looking at this bottle 7 times or 5 times or 4 times or 6 times, whatever it is. You keep looking at it and looking at it and looking at it, and what are you going to do with it? So. You have to be creative, but at all times you can't lose intensity, and that's one thing we know with the playoffs is from start to finish, it's not like a normal regular season NBA game where sometimes you might see some coasting or sometimes guys slow down a little bit. This is intense, and we want to be at the highest level of intensity, and I know we will.
You talk about looking at that bottle 5, 6, 7, 8 times in a row. You keep doing that, that's not fun. So how do you keep the fun aspect of the game for the
Sometimes you have to change it up, and I think our coaches and players now it comes with experience. When you have the experience of it, I think we're always going to have fun here. I think, and the atmosphere in Toronto, our fans, they bring it. There's always a different energy, a certain type of energy. For me, that's easy on our part, and it's going to change game by game, right? You know, like every game is different, and once you look at that bottle, that first time you chuck that experience away, and then it's a new one, and you have to plan for that one and go again, and that's the playoff. So there'll be many things that will lighten things up or change things up, or where we have to the coaches or the players have to get creative. So, but our fans, I know they're going to bring it and bring a great atmosphere for us every single day. It'll be something different.
Teams have been able to take DeMar out of his game a little bit in the playoffs over the last few years. What have you seen from him this year that would indicate he's better prepared for what's coming?
Well, he's a better passer. And he reads the game a little bit more. He's taken time to study the game more, and I think DeMar knows now that he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to force anything to be successful. He doesn't have to score 100 points to be successful. I think DeMar understands, and he understands winning. You know, like we've tried to build a winning culture here, and it's not as big as the big teams, but there's been a level of consistency, and I think that starts to stick. And I love this statement yesterday where he talks about been thinking about this since the last summer, and that's big. I think all of us can actually like say that we've watched his game and watched it grow. And the passing and the defensive intensity, I think, are the two things, you know, we can definitely say he's gotten better at.
Masai, that comment that you made yesterday, do you think that's him also raising the bar in that last year we were talking about, well, happy to maybe get out of the first round because it hasn't happened other than once before. Now the bar for him, let alone the organization, is higher?
Yeah, it's all about winning, you know, like nobody is in here to come in and do anything different, you know, and I think DeMar understands that. Nobody feels sorry for us anymore, you know, like this is not first time go, this is not, you're playing to be a top team in the NBA and to win. I know sometimes nobody gives us a chance. They hear that, they see that, and but we're out to play and to prove that. You know what? If DeMar didn't miss 8 games and Kyle didn't miss 21 games and Patrick didn't miss 17 games, I know it can be excuses I'm making here, but I want to say that being 1 game or 2 games out, maybe we could have competed for the first place in the East. We feel confident about that. It's playing to win, and these guys understand that, and we're not putting pressure on ourselves or on anybody, but these guys understand that we want to win.
Masai, you say you were talking about it looking good on paper, and you go in pretty much without any major injuries. Where is your confidence level this year compared to even previous years? Like, how much higher are you, or how much bigger are your expectations?
Well, I think our team is a little bit better, you know, like a little bit more well-rounded, I think, you know. So we've always talked about having a power forward, and I think Serge Ibaka brings that perspective. We've always talked about having those hybrid defenders, and I think Damari brings that, PJ brings that, Patrick Patterson brings that, Kyle Lowry is an all-star, DeMar is an all-star, and then our young guys have slowly started growing as players. So we understand that we're a growing team, and I'm not going to come here and continue like saying we're a growing team. We want to win. Yeah, but basketball and playoff basketball is all about winning, and that's what we want to do.
Game ones have proven to be a sticking point for you in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Why and what might make tomorrow night different?
Well, we changed it from the 6 a.m. game to the 5:30 game, so Oops, I might get fined for that one, but no, but you know what? There's no excuses. You know, like we have to come out and play well, and it's game one in our home court, and we want to we have to come out and compete and play well, and that game one has always, I don't want to say haunted us, but you know, it is what it is. We're going to come out and play, and I know these guys, they realize, but I know they see it as their first playoff game, and they are all excited to play. So, you know, records are made to be broken, you know, so hopefully we break this one this time.
How does the fan base play on the minds of the players?
Pardon me?
How does the fan base play on the minds of the players?
Oh, they love it. You know, like this is the time, you know, everybody's out, Leafs are in, Toronto sports is on a high, you know, and I think it's a big time for all of us. And the fans come early, come to the park. The police take down those barricades so we can get more and more fans in there, because we love it. The players love it, and they feel it. This is a moment that I think everyone feels. From that moment when everyone comes in and sings the Canadian national anthem, I think that moment is when you know that it's starting and it's beginning. That's my way of telling the fans tomorrow to come early, come at 5 o'clock.
So you've mentioned in the past really wanting PJ for a while, that you guys had noticed him a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when you first took notice of him and what it might have been, a specific thing that he had done in the league or something that you started to think he'd be a good fit here?
You know, it's that you see guys that are intense, you know, and it doesn't matter what they're doing, or what game it is, they're just intense, and they're all about winning. And I think everybody paid attention to that. So there were tons of teams that wanted him, you know. I think, and we were just lucky to get him. And but what I think, his intensity, the real person that he is, you know, from even the way he talks and how he feels about the game, I think it's huge for us. And but honestly, with players, we can, if we talk about all the players that we want, or all the players that that we think about and dream about, then I think all of us will be Hall of Famers, because I'll have every single player in the NBA. There's so many, but sometimes you get lucky, and we got lucky with PJ to get him at that time.
Masai, how important is this postseason run for you evaluating where this core can go longer term?
Say that again.
How important is this postseason run for you to determine how far this core can go longer term? You mentioned at the deadline, you know, spending into the tax and things like that. Mm-hmm. How important are results right now for your evaluation?
You know, I'll give you an example. You know, like everybody thought we would go the other way after the Washington series, and you have to dig deep after you go through playoff battles, you know, and you have to see exactly, you have to evaluate and see exactly what went wrong with your team or what went right with your team. So it's a tough place. It's a tough question to answer now. There's no yes or no. There's no, okay, if you lose now, you know, it's done. You break up the team, or if you win, you keep the team. I think you look at everything that goes on, and you talk to your players, you talk to your coaches, and you really evaluate, you know, where your team is before making those decisions. So I don't want to sit here and give you, you know, an answer. Hey, if we lose in the first round, then it's done, or if we get to the Eastern or whatever. It's I feel we have to, as a front office, as a team, we all get together. It happened when we lost against Washington. You know, got swept. You know, and we sat down and we dug deep and said, you know what, we're gonna try this again. And keep it going and see where it takes us. And sometimes those things are instinct, sometimes it's luck, but the work has to be done to make those decisions.
Any other questions?
Thanks, guys. Thank you. You do? Tell me. Tell me.
To be honest, what do you think of him? I mean, you probably had a little bit of exposure to him in years past, but he's going to be in your yard now, which is interesting.
Well, I'm not going to say all the good things today. No, phenomenal player. I think young player coming up in the league. I think as a star. Always been a big admirer of him as a person and his family, and there's so much room for growth. Except the next how many games. I hope he does. I hope he does. He's gonna be a phenomenal player, I think, in our league. And it's a joy to watch how competitive he is. So I wish him the best of luck, and except next few days.
Does he remind you maybe early days of LeBron, or is he, in your mind, is it fair to talk about his potential when it was
just because I don't want to put, make those comments or put pressure on a person like that, because he's a growing player, I think. But you can see stardom, like all over him, and I hope he continues to rise. For sure, he's going to be one of the top players in this league, except next few days. Thank you.